The power of, hi, how are you? Expanded. Alright, let me hit you with some realness right now. Life is hard. I get it. You're going through stuff. Feeling stuck. Feeling like you're sinking into a pit that you just can't climb out of. But I need you to listen to me, and I need you to hear this loud and clear. You don't have to stay stuck. You don't have to let the weight of your problems define you. Just like the album we're going to talk about today, Hi, How Are You by Johnston, you have the power to break through. You have the power to climb out of that pit and rise to something greater. Don't you dare think for 1 second that your struggles are bigger than you. You are bigger than your struggles. Today, we're diving deep into this album. And let me tell you something, when Johnston wrote this album, he was laying his soul bare. He wasn't afraid of showing his weaknesses, his pain, and his flaws. And you know what? In doing that, he gave us all permission to be human. He showed us that it's okay to hurt. It's okay to be lost sometimes. But, and here's the big one, he also showed us that you can rise. You can keep going. You don't have to be perfect to be powerful. You see, in every song, Johnston's giving you a choice. He's showing you what it looks like to be real. He's showing you the fight, the pain, the chaos, but he's also showing you the victory. And you know what? That's what this is all about. It's about making the decision to keep fighting, to keep pushing forward. Just like he did. So when you feel like the world is closing in on you, and you feel like quitting is the easiest option, I need you to remember this one thing. And no one can stop you but you. If Johnston, in his darkest moments, can create something this powerful, you can break through whatever you're dealing with. His music is a testimony that says, I didn't give up. I didn't let my circumstances define me. And guess what? That's your story too. You are writing your own story right now. And I'm telling you, it doesn't matter where you are in the process. What matters is that you keep writing, keep fighting, and keep going until you get to the other side. You can and will rise above. Hi, how are you? Let's start with the title track. Hi, how are you? On the surface, this seems like a simple question, right? But listen, it's way more than that. This is Daniel reaching out. He's asking you, how are you really doing? Not the surface level answer, but what's going on deep down in your heart, in your mind. So let me ask you the same thing. How are you doing? And I'm not talking about the I'm good, how about you response. I'm talking about the real answer. Are you hurting? Are you feeling alone? Are you unsure of where to go next? That's okay. It's okay to feel that way. But let me tell you, the first step to getting through it is to acknowledge it. You have to face what you're feeling. You have to get real with yourself. And that's exactly what Daniel did. He didn't run from his pain. He didn't try to bury it. He looked at it head on and said, this is me. This is my struggle. But I'm still here. And you know what? So are you. You might feel like you're struggling right now, but as long as you're here, you've got a chance. And every day you wake up, you have the power to change things, to move towards something greater. But first, you have to ask yourself, how are you really doing? Some things last a long time. Now, let's dig into some things last a long time. This one hits hard, doesn't it? It's almost like Daniel's acknowledging the reality of life. Sometimes, the hard times, the pain, the struggles, they seem like they're never gonna end. You know what I'm talking about. You've been there. You've had those moments where you thought, this is it. I can't take any more of this. And when it feels like that, you wonder, how much longer do I have to endure this pain? Here's the thing. Some things do last a long time. The scars, the memories, the weight of it all, they're gonna stay with you. But here's the truth that Daniel's showing us. Some things last a long time, but so does your strength. The battles you're fighting today, the things that seem impossible to overcome, guess what? They're shaping you. They're giving you endurance. And that strength lasts. You will carry it with you for the rest of your life. And when the next battle comes, and you'll face it knowing you've got what it takes to survive. The pain doesn't last forever, but the strength you gain through it does. Speeding motorcycle. Now, let's talk about speeding motorcycle. This track, man, it's chaotic. It's about feeling like life's out of control, like you're just speeding through without knowing where you're going. And honestly, sometimes life feels like that. It feels like a wild ride where the wheels are spinning and you can't keep up. You've been there, I've been there. It's that feeling of losing control. The world's moving too fast and you're just trying to hold on. But here's the key. The key is realizing that while you may not always be able to control everything around you, you control how you respond. Life might be chaotic, but you can find peace within that chaos. You can still steer that speeding motorcycle. You can still direct your journey no matter how fast it feels. Sometimes you need to slow down. You need to breathe. Focus on what's in your control and take it one step at a time. When you do that, when you realize you have the ability to steer your own life, that's when everything changes. You may be speeding down a crazy road, but you are still in charge of where you end up. True love will find you in the end. Gentle but powerful conclusion, focusing on self-worth and hope. And then we have one of the most powerful tracks on the album, True Love Will Find You in the End. And you know what? You've been through the fire. You've been through the battle. You've doubted yourself. But let me tell you something, true love will find you. And I'm not just talking about love from someone else. I'm talking about the love you have for yourself. Let's get real. Self-love is the foundation of everything. If you don't love yourself, how can you expect the world to love you? How can you expect others to show you the respect, the love, and the care you deserve? It starts with you. Right here. Right now. True love will find you, but it can only find you when you first love yourself. So stop beating yourself up. Stop letting the mistakes and the failures define you. Love yourself and the rest will follow. You deserve love. You deserve happiness. And once you truly realize that, once you make that choice to love yourself, that's when the world will start to shift. Because when you love yourself, you're unstoppable. Here's the thing, Daniel Johnston didn't make music for perfectionists. He didn't make music for people who were afraid to show their flaws. He made music for fighters. He made music for the ones who weren't afraid to get messy, to get real, and to keep going no matter what. And that's who you are. A fighter. A survivor. And nothing can stop you when you decide to keep going. When you decide to rise. Let me tell you something right now, life may knock you down, but you've got the power to get back up. You've got the strength to keep fighting and the heart to make it through. Every single person who's ever made something of themselves, every single legend in punk, rock, or any field has faced their darkest days. They faced the demons. They felt the weight. And yet they rose. And that's exactly what you are going to do. You are going to rise, and when you do, you'll look back and say, I made it through. I'm still here, and nothing can stop me. Now go out there and make it happen. You are unstoppable. You are a force to be reckoned with. No matter what you're facing, you can break through. You will break through. Get up. Keep going. The world is waiting for you to show up. Worried shoes, reflecting on anxiety and the overwhelming nature of life. All right, let's hit it with worried shoes. Now, you know this one hits deep because we all wear them, right? Those worried shoes. You've been there. You felt the weight of anxiety crushing down on you, making it feel like every step you take is a battle. You're trying to move forward, but the fear, the doubt, the anxiety, it feels like you're walking through quicksand. And every time you lift one foot, it's like it's getting heavier and heavier. But let me tell you something, you can take those shoes off. You don't have to keep walking in that fear. You can choose to take a different path. You can choose to not let your worries define you. Your shoes don't have to be full of worry every single day. You are in control. It's about recognizing that you don't have to carry that weight. You don't have to walk through life dragging yourself along. You can release that burden. So here's the deal. You can't control everything. The world isn't going to stop throwing challenges at you. But what you can control is how you respond. Every day you wake up, you get to choose what kind of shoes you put on. You can choose the shoes of strength, the shoes of resilience, and yes, even the shoes of hope. You don't have to walk through this life carrying worry and doubt. Take those shoes off and start walking with purpose, with confidence, and with an unwavering belief that you can move mountains. I live my broken dreams. Next up, I live my broken dreams. This is where Daniel gets real. It's raw, it's painful, and it's something we can all relate to. The idea of broken dreams. You've been there. I've been there. We've all been there at some point in our lives. Dreams you've had, visions you've chased, and yet somehow they've been shattered. Life didn't turn out the way you expected. Maybe the plan didn't work, maybe you didn't get that job, or maybe your relationships fell apart. You thought you had it figured out and then boom, life threw a curveball. But listen up. Just because you've faced setbacks, just because your dreams didn't unfold the way you imagined, that doesn't mean it's the end. Daniel says, I live my broken dreams. Notice the word live, he's not saying he's stuck. He's saying he's still alive, still moving forward. And that's what matters. So here's the truth, you are allowed to have broken dreams. But what you cannot do is allow those broken dreams to keep you from dreaming again. You can rebuild. You can take what's left of your broken dreams, the fragments of hope, and craft something new. And you know what? The broken pieces often make the most beautiful things. The cracks give your story character. They show you're a survivor. And no one can take that away from you. The story of an artist. All right, now we're diving into the story of an artist. This is one of the most introspective tracks on the album, and it's a raw look at what it means to be an artist, and honestly, it's not just about being a painter or a musician. This is about your life. Your life is your art. What you create every day, whether it's in your career, your relationships, or how you show up in the world, that is your art. Now, let's get real. Being an artist, being someone who creates, is no easy task. It's filled with doubt, it's filled with criticism, and it's filled with challenges. But you know what? That's where the power is. Daniel Johnston understood this. He understood that it's through that struggle that true art comes to life. When you're at your lowest, when you're facing the most adversity, that's when you can create something truly powerful. Life isn't always going to be perfect. In fact, it's probably going to be pretty messy. But guess what? You can create something out of that mess. You can make something beautiful from the chaos. Your story, your journey, your struggle, those are the tools you need to build something magnificent. You are the artist of your own life. So start creating. Don't let the mess of the world stop you from painting the masterpiece that is your future. Casper the Friendly Ghost. Let's talk about Casper the Friendly Ghost. This one is interesting because Daniel's writing about feeling like an outsider, feeling invisible, feeling like you're just floating through life without truly being seen. I know that feeling. You felt it too. You've had those days where it feels like no one gets you. You felt isolated, like you're on the outside looking in, and it can be a lonely place to be. But let me tell you something, just because you feel invisible doesn't mean you're alone. There's always a way out. And it's through connection. It's through reaching out to others. You're not alone in this world. And the beauty of life is that you don't have to face the fight alone. Reach out. Seek out those people who will see you for who you truly are, who will lift you up and help you on your journey. And just like Casper, you can be a light for others. Sometimes we get so caught up in our own darkness that we forget that there are people out there who are also struggling. You have the power to be the friendly ghost, the person who steps into someone else's life and lifts them up. And in doing that, you'll find the strength to lift yourself up too. Moon in the Water. Now, let's get deep with Moon in the Water. This track reflects on the fleeting nature of life, the beauty that comes and goes, and the idea that nothing is permanent. It's like watching the moon in the water. It's beautiful, it's mesmerizing, but it's also elusive. It can't be captured. Life is like that sometimes, isn't it? We spend so much time chasing things that we forget to appreciate the beauty of the moment. We're constantly looking for the next thing, the next success, the next goal, and in doing that, we miss out on the beauty that's already around us. So here's what I need you to do. Appreciate the now. Don't get so caught up in what's coming that you forget to live in the present. Life is happening right now. And every moment you waste not appreciating it is a moment you'll never get back. So look around, take a breath, and realize that you are exactly where you need to be. Everything you've gone through, every moment, every step, it's all led you here to this exact point. And that is something to be grateful for. Listen up. This is your time. Life isn't about waiting for the perfect moment. It's about making this moment count. You've got the power to create, to rise, to overcome. And just like Daniel Johnston poured his soul into this album, you have the power to pour your soul into your life. Don't hold back. Take the messy, the broken, the imperfect, and turn it into something beautiful. You are the artist of your life, and you decide how the story ends. Don't you dare let the world tell you that you can't. Don't you dare let the fear, the failures, the mistakes stop you. You are a force. You have a fire inside of you that nothing can extinguish unless you let it. Every step you take, every day you keep fighting, you are moving closer to the person you're meant to be. You are not defined by your struggles. You are defined by how you rise above them. So get up, dust yourself off, and show the world what you're made of. Now go out there and make it happen. You've got this. Remember, you are unstoppable. You are a fighter. And with every challenge, every setback, you are one step closer to victory. Keep fighting, keep believing, and always remember you are the artist and the world is waiting for you to create something amazing.